Hello, it's Miss Gronberg here. I have a special lesson today for the grade 3 students. So the first thing I want you to do is to read the picture, it's the crow and the picture. So if you haven't read it yet, stop this video and then come back to it afterwards because I do want you to read the story on your own first. Okay, so this comes from Aesop's fairy tale. And there's a lot of rich language in it. So in this activity today, what I want to work on is enhancing vocabulary. So I'm going to give you a strategy that you can use for this story, but also you can use it for anything you read. It's a fantastic strategy you can use at any age with any book. Okay, so the same thing I give to the grade 5s and with older learners as well, or adult learners, okay? So what you can do first, and you might want to pause the video and write this down on a piece of paper. You can write this on any type of paper. This is my favorite type actually. It's to write it on, but you can write it on blank paper, lined paper. But I have, I'm blanking out. I have the graph paper. And so I find it's nice because then I can follow the line to make a straight line down and to go across. But anyways, what you want to do is, after you've read the story, okay, I want you to write word, definition, synonym, antonym. Definition will be the largest section that you need. So what we're going to do with this is write down any challenging words from the story, okay? So we're going to walk through it together though. So write word, definition, synonym, antonym. Pause this right now and come back to it. Did you write it down? You do need to write it down. So I just want to quickly tell you, word, you're going to write down the new word, okay, any challenging words that you come across while you're reading. Definitions, like you open up the dictionary, find the definition. With adult permission, you can look online because that can be helpful. If you go online to the Google dictionary, you can hear how you say the word, okay? Yeah, the dictionary tells you how to pronounce the word, but you need to understand how to read the symbols. So that's kind of tricky. Like I usually, if I'm listening to a new word, I'll go to Google and like listen to how you say it. So the next part, synonym. So you're going to write another word that means the same thing as your new word. Okay, same meaning. And then antonym is the opposite meaning. So I'm going to go ahead and read the story, The Crow in the Picture. And then I'm just, like what I would do if I had a book while I'm reading, I just put those sticky notes on it as a reminder, and then I come back to it. If it really kind of like stops like if I can't understand what's going on because of that word, then I need to stop and figure out what that word means. Often I can use context clues to kind of figure out the meaning without the dictionary. But if I can't do that, then I'll need to look it up. So you have to decide, do I need to do it now because I don't understand what's happening because I don't understand this word? Or is it a word I can probably like come back to later and then add it to my chart and learn that new word? So I'm going to start reading The Crow in the Picture. And then, so just listen for now. A thirsty crow found a pitcher with some water in it. Okay, so here's a picture. I just want to show you. There's a picture, and it's probably been sitting outside. Maybe the rain's been falling, and then there's some water in it, but not enough for the crow to get a drink. Starting again. A thirsty crow found a pitcher with some water in it, but so little was there that try as she might, she could not reach it with her beak, and it seemed as though she would die of thirst within sight of the remedy. Remedy. So let's say, like, if I don't know that word, what I'm going to do is write the word remedy down, and then maybe I'll come back to it, or I might stop right now and do write the definition. So what I think I'll do is stop right now and write the definition, because my hope is that you actually read the story already at home, okay? If I was reading it by myself and I was stuck, I think what I would do is just note it down and come back to it at the end because it's not a long story. I'd read the story from top to bottom, read it the whole way through first, and then come back to the definitions. But because we did the story already, we read the story, hopefully on your own, and I've read it before, I'm just going to write the word remedy down, and then I'm going to find the word in my dictionary. So if you have a dictionary at home, if you know how to use it, you can look in your dictionary. Or once again, you can look on Google with adults' permission, of course, before you go on anything online. So remedy, R-E-M, remedial, remediate, so remedy. Okay, so I see there's a couple definitions. The first one that goes on a medicine, application or treatment. So I don't think it's medicine, but this medicine's to relieve or cure a disease. Okay, so you have to use context clues to realize, okay, they're talking about the bird is thirsty. So you don't need medicine to relieve yourself from your thirst. So that definition's okay. I want to keep reading to see if there's a better one for the context of our story. Okay, so definition 2, something that corrects or counteracts. Yeah, I would say drinking the water would correct, so I could write that. And then the legal means to recover a right or to prevent or obtain. Okay, I'm just gonna not even read that. That's fine. I'm going to just write something that corrects. Okay, so I write that down, and then I want a synonym. So I'm going to think of one, or if you're really stuck, you can look it up online again. It's usually on the dictionary. They do still list synonyms, and then you might have to Google antonym for your word. But that is very easy to find actually. But you have to pick a synonym that's going to help you understand the word. So if you pick a word that you don't know the second word, like sometimes there'll be another word, I'm like, I don't know that word. Well, maybe you don't need to write it unless you want to learn that word too. Okay, so I picked for my synonyms, cure. So remedy means to cure something, to heal, to fix. So I'll write that down for remedy, for synonyms, words that mean the same as remedy or very similar. Now the last part is to find an antonym. And I'm writing 3 just for an example. If you write 1, that's fine. So antonym, the opposite of a remedy would be something that does damage, something that will worsen or harm you. So that would be the antonym or the opposite. I mean, it's not perfect, but it helps me with my word. So you want to write things that will actually help you understand it. Don't think like, oh, I want to make my teacher happy and do this. This activity is not about pleasing me, your teacher, your adults at home. This is about you understanding the word. That's the purpose of it, is understanding that one word. Okay, so you're going to write whatever helps you. I wrote the words that help me. So it looks like this. Okay, now on my chart, we have my word, remedy, definition, something that corrects, and then the synonym, cure, heal, fix, antonym, damage, worsen, or harm. Okay, so let's keep reading the story. So I'm going to continue from remedy. At last, she hits upon a clever plan. So she began dropping pebbles, so little rocks. She began dropping pebbles into the pitcher, and with each pebble, the water rose a little higher. Imagine how long that would take for the water to rise. Taking the pebbles with the crows, taking pebbles with the beak, putting into the water. Okay, so the water is rising until at last it reached the brim, and the knowing bird was enabled to quench her thirst. So the bird now, so quench, that's another word. So I'm gonna look up the word quench in the dictionary. So quench, it's pretty close to here. Okay, I see queen, I see quench. Okay, that wasn't long. So quench, to put out or extinguish, like to put out with, like put out the fire. So this isn't about fire, so I'm gonna keep reading. So to cool suddenly by immersion, to cause to lose heat or warmth, no. To bring to an end, typically by satisfying, oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that one already. Okay, so to bring to an end, typically by satisfying, damping, cooling, or decreasing. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to put quench, to satisfy, and I'm going to use the context of this as well, to satisfy one's thirst by drinking. So that makes sense to me. So I'm going to write that down. So quench is the word, to satisfy one's thirst by drinking. You often hear the word quench for that reason. A synonym would be satisfy. I use that in my definition. You might find a word in your definition you can use as a synonym. I like it when that happens. Satisfy, relieve, antonym, Okay, so if I'm not satisfied, I'm dissatisfied. So I'm just looking even at my synonyms to help me with my antonyms. Satisfy, the opposite, dissatisfy. So I put aggravate and frustrate. Okay, so if you can't have your thirst quenched, you're probably frustrated, right? Like really thirsty. So what I do is I need my ruler. Okay, draw a line from my last one to make it nice and neat. And then I write the next word. So now what I need to do is underline here because I have one more word. And then, so it's nice and neat and everything's organized. And then I just have one more word that will do for an example. Okay, so let's keep reading. Oh, this is the last part. I found this interesting. So the end with necessity is the mother of invention. Very interesting. Moral of the story, what do you think? So, and what do you think that means? But first of all, we need to know what invention means, okay? So what does invention mean? Let's look up the word invention. Okay, in the dictionary. Okay. Invention, invisible, no, gotta go back. Invention, discovery, finding. Oh yeah, wouldn't you say that the crow invented a way to get the water? So the crow probably thought, what can I do? If the crow saw other crows doing it, then it wouldn't be the crow's invention, but you know, we get the point. So invention is creating something new. That right away, I like that definition. So let's just write that down, the action of creating something new. Synonym would be creation, design, discover. What about antonym and opposite would be like to copy. So like if the crow saw another bird doing it and it just copies it, then you can say it's an invention, right? Or something that's the same that other people have done. Okay, so here we have the last one. So those are all of them now from the story. So we have invention, the action of creating something new. Sorry, synonym, creation, design, discover, antonym, copy, or the same. Okay, so this is what my sheet here looks like. And now I have my words. Necessity is the mother of invention. Something to think about. So you might think of the inventor, of different inventors, like the invention of the light bulb, or the invention of basketball, which I mentioned, or I'll mention in another video, James Naismith, who's from Canada. And he was a PE teacher, and he invented one of the sports that I know that we all love, right? Or most of us love that sport, whether it's watching it, playing it. It's pretty cool that was created by a Canadian, although he invented it, well, his first year when he moved to the States. Okay, so what do you think that means? Necessity is the mother of invention. Maybe I won't tell you. I do say this on a different video. I'm not going to say here because I do want my grade 3s to think a little longer about what that might mean. If you're not sure, you maybe ask someone at home, what do you think this quote means here from Aesop's fairy tale? So one more thing that you can do to help with the memorize new words is if I'm still stuck on those words, what I do is put them on 2 cue cards. So I put the word like remedy, and then I put the definition on the back. Something that corrects or fixes. I might like that word better. So even though I wrote it there, I might change it. So something that fixes. I like that better. You can change it, right? Nothing wrong with that. Revise. Now the other word was quench. So I write quench. Quench on one side, and then the definition on the other side, okay? So to satisfy one's thirst by drinking. And then we have invention, so write invention, and then on the other side, the action of creating something new. So now I have my cue cards, not too many yet. 3 is fine to start off with anyways. But as you get going, you're going to add more to your list, and you'll have more words. And then I would study them. Invention, and then I think, okay, what does invention mean? Okay, and try to remember it. So it's the action of creating something new. I might say it in different words too, right? And that's okay, as long as the meaning's there, you know what it means. And quench, what does it mean? Something about your thirst. I don't quite remember it. So I might put it in a different pile. The words that I remember go in another pile. So I'm just going to practice the words that I don't know, practice, practice, practice until I feel confident in them. And even then, I shouldn't put this word aside even though I got invention. What I might do is read this side, the definition, and then say the word invention. Sometimes that is harder, especially if it's a new word. especially if it's a word that's difficult to say. If that's the case, break it up into syllables. Invention. Okay, there's another. If you want tips on how to break up into syllables, you just maybe message me. I have another video, or I can give you ways to do that. But breaking up words into syllables is very, very helpful with new words and pronouncing them, okay? So yeah, so anyways, so I would read the back, the action of creating something new. What does that mean? Invention. Got it. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. This is getting a bit longer than I thought. So thanks for coming in, and it's nice to see you. Can I say that? But anyways, thanks for coming, and looking forward to seeing you hopefully soon, okay? Bye for now.